Hello. Today, I would like to talk about why things happen to us and why we react the way we do. While we might not always be able to control our environment and what disrupts our life, how we choose to react to it is where the key for our experience understanding lies. Because anything that can make you feel a very strong emotion. There are many cases in life where those scenarios occur, whether it's your boss forcing you to take on more tasks than you're paid for, showing you that you need to learn to set up boundaries, or whether you feel jealous of your partner and wonder if they will cheat on you, but that really shows you that you are insecure about yourself. So, solving the problem of feeling of scarcity or feeling like something is irreplaceable to you is not only a zero-sum mindset, but it's also an expression of your feelings and thoughts about yourself and your value, which you can control. Or whether it's a fight with your parents, where your parent says something very emotionally provoking and makes you really, really upset. The underlying emotion might not be what you think it is. It might be something along the lines of seeking a certain form of validation of your perspective, or to make sure that this other person has your perspective. And that can also communicate a certain tension about how you should feel like to feel comfortable with the world. It helps acknowledging these internal patterns and needs in advance to potentially prevent or outgrow future situations. If you notice that you get reactive over a certain topic, you should keep in mind that sometimes being reactive to it in the future might not result in the outcome that you're looking for, and be aware of why you are actually being reactive to whatever is being said. Ultimately, these feelings are what point us to the things in ourselves that can still use some fine-tuning and show us where we should learn how to process our emotions or know something about ourselves. We often have to juggle this pursuit of qualities that we desire in ourselves from the external world with seeking and withdrawing back into something that feels familiar, both of which could serve as mechanisms that build up for tension and confusion in the future. The well-known principle of the opposites attract is quite relevant in this scenario. For example, people who feel like they don't have internal confidence in themselves are often attracted to people who project confidence very, very explicitly. So by being attracted to those people or trying to be their friend, the people who feel like they lack confidence on the inside are trying to compensate for the quality they don't have on the inside by having it in their life on the outside. And this is also very vividly seen in relationships where people who feel like self-love is not something they were raised with or something they know about. They seek people who would express that self-love and know how to do it, so that opposite feeling creates this dynamic where a person who has too much care to give but not enough skill to give it to themselves is attracted to a person who knows how to love themselves but might not know how to give care to others. And it creates a loop where one is feeding the other, and both are compensating with the external for something they feel like they don't necessarily have on the inside as a skill. And eventually it reaches a point where this dynamic starts polarizing itself by having the two people push into two different directions, and by doing so, eventually breaking that bond and leaving really hurt. However, that teaches these people and shows them that this didn't work because you are not actually doing the inner work of looking at the thing that you're attracted to. Why? What is it that you're attracted to? And if you don't do this work, those types of people all too commonly get stuck potentially in patterns that feel really familiar. And that's often seen with people who grow up with a divorce, where sometimes the comfort of the familiarity, even when it's not necessarily healthy for you, start recreating the patterns in their own relationships. So for some people, of course not all, there is work to be done on learning on establishing new patterns, whether it's with friends, with partners, at a job, where you need to learn what the holes are of your personality, where the water might, quote unquote, pour out. If you imagine that you are a pool and you fill this pool with water, if there are holes in the pool, that is where the water is going to leave. So your job is to find all the holes and minimize the water leakage. And the troubles and the radical emotions that you experience in your life are the holes. That is the hint for you to figure out what in your life is not balanced, is not resolved. What type of things are you reacting to, and why? Why are you spilling so much energy over whatever it is you are worrying about? And recognize that that worry is a set of thoughts and feelings that have some form of pattern that you might have experienced and might even have created a pattern over. And until you learn to recognize where that pattern is actually coming from and why, you might feel like you are experiencing it over and over and over. So pay attention to your emotions. Pay attention to what you're feeling and why you might be feeling what you're feeling. And that way you will be able to learn from it. No one says that this is an easy journey, but when we think about the types of challenges that we encounter in our life, we only control how we react to them. You will never truly know how other people will treat you or how your work is going to turn out, but you can control yourself. If something worries you, do everything that you can to prevent yourself from worrying about it. And at that point you can tell yourself, I did everything in my power to prepare for this situation. There is nothing that I didn't do that I was able to prepare for this situation. And that preparation alone will redesign how you think about life, because you're going to take the reins of what is important to you. Are you afraid that tomorrow you might have no job? Okay, then learn how to budget. Are you afraid that there will be an apocalypse tomorrow? Okay, learn how to start a fire. Make an emergency backpack. Are you afraid that something or somebody will come and try to hurt you? Okay, learn to defend yourself. If it truly matters to you, if you're truly worried about it, you might as well perform actions to prepare yourself for it. Because otherwise, you will just be in cycles of worry and stress, and know that that was your choice to be not doing anything about it. And I think this is a very important thing to recognize, that we are responsible for our happiness, our emotions, everything we experience. Every emotion we prescribe a situation ultimately comes from inside of us. And by tuning into that control over how you are able to experience things and treating challenges like an opportunity where you can develop yourself and find where your weaknesses and your leakages are, and start doing it little step at a time, you will not recognize yourself at the end of that journey. And that way, you will be a little bit more calm in the face of versatility and uncertainty. Because ultimately, you are the one who prescribes the emotions to events in your life. And when you feel a radical emotion, it's because there's something in yourself that you should be working on. Claim your emotions. Claim the life events. Everyone's life is not easy, maybe in different degrees. Everyone has a story. This is normal to have a story. And if you have a lot of pain, okay, that might be something you can use as your teacher eventually. So that you at least know that you are doing something about it. That way, you are in charge of the one thing you can truly control. So, I call to you to tune into yourself, learn from all experiences in yourself, and know thyself. Thank you.